Welcome to the show where we start with hello. Hello. So, I just wanted to do a very quick reaction video. I'm saying very quick because it's late at night and I need to change my baby's diaper, and I just kind of wanted to get this out before I did that and then went to bed. I put the ear quotes because any new parent knows that going to bed is not a real thing. Well, with a newborn. But yeah, so I want to comment on something, reacting to a video that I watched on Melanie King's show. I was in an episode, I guess a video, where she was reacting to a compilation of videos, and one of which, the final one of which, in the video anyway, was a video of this middle-aged man who was talking about how parents need to be accountable to how they address their children because, and okay, well, I'm going to play the video. So I'm going to play the video, I'm going to insert it, and then yeah, because I'm not going to react. I'm not going to comment as I react. I'm just going to play the clip. Cool.
Hey, yo, don't nobody know your daughter is 14, 15 years old, man. They don't. Especially when they see them wearing these tight-ass shorts with cheeks hanging out the goddamn shorts. Men see physical, we see it. We don't know she 15, 14, man. Sis, you don't see your daughter out there look like she having an contest with you? You ain't gonna say nothing? Or you just gonna victimize the people that look at her? Ain't you the one that bought the clothes? Huh? Ain't you the one that... Man, check that. It's warm as hell, man. You got these little girls walking down the street. I'm riding down the block, seeing all the kids for the prom. Somebody got all the little girls' prom dresses, got their out. That's normal to you? You don't feel weird about that shit? You got grown men riding by, grown men with gray beards, looking at your little 12, 13, 14-year-old daughter. They ain't looking at you, looking at her ass. That don't bother you? Man, you need to get your together, man. Summertime. And I guess, if you catch somebody looking at your kid, you catch somebody looking at your kid, you gonna bust your ass, right? You gonna get the grab the ratchet and bust your ass, right? Because they said something disrespectful to your 15-year-old with them ass hanging out them little ass shorts, little ass clothes that you bought. You bought them look like you went and bought them from a store called Build a Little Hoe. So somebody check them, right? So now the rest of the summer gonna consist of shootouts and dead bodies because you ain't be a better steward, be a good parent, and teach your child the importance of protecting their private stuff. Your child in competition with you. That's cute to you? Oh, you trying to let people see she get it from her mother? Huh? Sis, get your shit together. Bruh, pull up. Man, I understand you ain't with her no more. Pull up. You know your daughter getting older. She getting bitter. She's starting to develop now. Pull up. Encourage the mother to buy your daughter some training bras and shit. Some respectful ass shorts, man. To get to the knees, you heard me? Word up. Come on, man. Let's be accountable to each other, man. Word up. Especially in the day we got all these secret perverted ass, the predatory ass dudes out here, man. And then now it's legal. So that's telling your 14-year-old, here come burn this blunt. And sit in the backseat of this caddy and call me daddy. Come on, jump in the G-Ride, we out. Come on, y'all, it's levels to the Get on top of your affairs, family, parents. Nobody want to hear nothing about, oh, what's happening in the violence and North. Nah, man, we starting that shit.
Yeah. So that was the video. And, it's so interesting because in the reaction, in Melanie King's reaction video, as she was reacting to the video. She only gave her commentary at the end, but then she had her reactions during the video. And like, it was so interesting. At first I thought that she was like understanding what he was saying and that she was with it. And then I realized that, oh no, she thinks that this guy is a creep and everything. And I was just like, girl, Melanie, I agree with most of the things that you say and that you think. And I really appreciate, yeah, I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate someone who's just like unapologetically honest. So that's why I've really been enjoying her videos for the past couple of days since I started watching her stuff. Um, I was like, but here you are wrong. So wrong. Because she was saying that, and you should check out the video in itself. I think the video was entitled, women trashed her because she's submissive, something along those lines. Yeah, so at the end of the clip, her reaction was essentially saying that she called him a Geppetto. I don't know what a Geppetto is, you know.
Look, Geppetto,
But
I'm a real
whatever.
live boy.
Irrelevant. But yeah, essentially saying that he was a creep. And during her reaction while she was watching the thing, she was kind of like mouthing, saying, I think he's talking about himself when he's talking about the grown men who are looking at teenagers with a sexual eye. And I would just like to say to that you're absolutely right. He is talking about himself. There's no denying, and I left a comment as well, and essentially saying that that's the point of his video. That's the point of the opening statement of the clip that he made, saying, no one knows that your daughter is 14 and 15. Like, there isn't a sign on her head that says she's 14 and 15. However, what there is on her body that doesn't say she's 14 and 15 is how she's dressed, given the level of development that her body has. Let's not even pretend, and this is what I said as well in the comment to her video. It's so foolish to act as though teenagers cannot have bodies that are developed to the point of looking like adult bodies, because they can, and many do. And in the black community, I hate that I just used that term. Black people, many black people in the black race, many teenagers are very developed, very young physically. So they already have the body parts they're going to have their entire lives as adults. You know, their body's going to change, but they already have that development. The development that someone who's less precocious would have at 25, they have that at even 12 sometimes, at even 9 sometimes. I remember when I was in middle school, my little sister had a friend. My little sister was 3 years younger than me, so I was in like early middle school, I think. I think maybe I was in the 5th grade. Yeah, I was in the 5th grade, or I was in the 4th grade, and my little sister had just gotten into the 6th grade, or I was in the 5th grade and she was still in the... What am I talking about? Sorry, I'm confusing things. Am I confusing things? Yes, you are. I meant to say that I think that I was in the 8th grade or the 7th grade. It's because in French terms, the 8th grade is the 4th grade, and the 7th grade is the 5th grade. It's backwards. Yeah, the names are backwards in the French system, and I went to school in the French system. Well, yeah. So when I was at either the 7th or 8th grade, my little sister was in either the 5th or 6th grade. And she had a friend, or I don't think it was her friend personally, either way, she was in her class. And so this little girl was, I think she was like 10 or something. Her boobs were massive. She had huge boobs. Huge boobs. She was 10 years old. And yeah, this is just to say that let's not pretend that children cannot have bodies that men can be attracted to. Children that adult bodies that men can be attracted to. I'm not talking about the pedophiles who are attracted to prepubescent bodies that have no development to them. I'm talking about the bodies that look like adult bodies already. And men who are not pedophiles, but who are seeing someone who doesn't look like a child, yeah, and they feel that sexual attraction. Like, I cannot blame you. I can't blame you, because you don't know it's a child. It doesn't look like a child, especially if it isn't dressed like a child. And that's the point. In my comment, I was pretty much saying that, like, it's 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 not a surprise that you would have an adult who is attracted to adults, who sees someone who looks like an adult, and they have that attraction. It's not surprising that they would have that. But because, and when they find out that it's a child, and they feel understandably disgusted with themselves, that's why it's so important for parents to make sure that their children are dressing like children. Because you are putting them out there to be harmed. You're placing them on a pedestal for sexual assault, something that you don't want for your child, but you don't realize that you have a hand in what happens. And of course, as I also said in the comment that I left on the video, on Melanie King's video, where she's reacting to this, I said that of course this is not excusing what the adult has done. It's not excusing that at all. But it's not just a one-way street in this kind of situation. The parents absolutely have a hand in it. And this is also not discounting the fact that there are that someone who's intent on being a sexual predator doesn't care what you're wearing, because that's the thing that, like, women love to bring up, that a rapist is going to rape you whether you're wearing all kinds of clothes, or whether you're wearing a burqa or you're wearing nothing. This is what feminists like to say as a way to justify dressing like a whore. And I'm glad you said it to me. Yeah. And it's like that's just feminist dreamland imagination delusional thinking, because the reality is that there is a way that you will be treated according to how you're dressed. And we're not talking about sexual predators here. We're not talking about rapists who have no respect either way. We're talking about someone who's not intent on raping you, but because they're seeing how you're presenting yourself, they're thinking of you according to how you're presenting yourself. There's a look that is respectable. There is a look that is not. And putting everything out there is not respectable. It's just not. You are seen as a sexual object because that's all someone thinks about you. There's all someone thinks of you. All I'm seeing is the body parts that attract me. Why would I think of you as anything other than that? That's all I'm seeing. And yes, the feminism movement wants to make women forget that there is a responsibility to how you dress. Well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my words. For some reason, they're like getting caught in my throat. The devil is trying to stop me from saying this real-ish. Ain't gonna do it. Yeah, it's very important to realize that you have an accountability to how you're dressed. And I'm gonna say something. A couple of weeks ago, my little sister came back from. She just came to visit for a couple of weeks. Well, she had paperwork to do, and she was telling me how she'd gone out one day to do one of her paperwork stuff, and then she came back and she was really tired, like it was really hot and everything, and it took a long time. And then she was kind of telling me, like, yeah, it was hot, it took a long time, and also got catcalled 5 times, and she was like complaining about it. And I said something to her that she probably didn't expect me to say. She probably thought I was like, how dare you? But I said, well, that's the kind of thing that it's not surprising given how you're dressed. And she was wearing a crop top, but sweetie, crop top I can see like half your stomach. Do I need to see half your stomach? And this is not just speaking to my sister. This is speaking to anyone, everyone in this position, you know? This is how I used to dress. I used to dress like a whore. And I knew exactly why I was doing it. Because, like it or not, this is something that feminists don't speak out about, don't say clearly, even though we all know it. Sexual attention is what you're wanting. That is what you are wanting. It's what you are looking for when you're dressing that way. I think it's such a lie when people say, oh, I'm just doing it for myself. No, you're not. You're absolutely not just doing it for yourself. You know what is really dressing in a way that is doing it for yourself? Is dressing modestly. Because in this world where it's all about sexual attention, it is so difficult. It is so hard to dress modestly because it requires so much self possession. It requires so much confidence to dress modestly because then you aren't looking at other people thinking, oh my gosh, like I wish I was getting that attention. Oh my gosh, like you just have to be content with who you are, knowing that people don't need to see what you have going on in order for you to know that it is great or whatever, and that it doesn't even matter. You want sexual attention when you're dressing that way, and when you allow your children to dress that way, you're calling that to them. You're putting them out there. You're saying, this is my child. Go ahead, have at it. But because it's usually feminists that allow that kind of thing because of the whole sexual liberation thing, you know, you can dress however you want, and you're not allowed to have anyone have the natural reaction they're going to have to how you're dressed because it's them, because feminists are the one who are allowing their kids to dress any type of way for the most part. They're also then going to cry foul when something bad sexually happens to the person, to their child, that they've allowed out into the world dressed like that, when it was half their fault. So yeah, I agree with that, man, 100%. And I disagree with what Melanie King said, saying that the conversation should be had amongst women. Why? Why should it be had amongst women when, for the most part, the people who are the ones to be unfortunately deceived by a teenager who should not be dressed like an adult are men? Men are the ones who are guilty of that, so they're the ones who should be holding other people accountable to that, and also other men. You know? It's important. It's absolutely important. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And I'm very glad to see in the comments of the video how most people were saying, I enjoy your content, blah, 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 but you're so wrong on this. You are so wrong on this. This guy was right for saying this. This guy was right for saying this. So many people were saying that over and over again. I was like, good, because he absolutely was right for saying this. Absolutely right. But it's difficult in the modern world and modern Western world to hear this kind of thing because the whole feminism movement. But you come to a conservative country, women will tell you, as a woman, don't dress that way. Don't, call this kind of attention to yourself, blah, blah, blah. And men will tell you that as well. But yeah, women will tell you, it's obvious what you're asking for. You're disrespecting yourself when you do that. You're disrespecting your husband, your boyfriend when you're dressed like that. Women will say that to you. Women said that to me. My mom said that to me. Yeah, the world will, in a conservative country, you will know what people really think of you dressed this way. Because not everyone is going to come out and say that, when you're dressed like this, I mostly see you as a sex object, even though I don't want to, but it is how I see you because it's kind of how you're presenting yourself. Most people are not going to come out right and say that. But then you have the people who are more brash or just more direct, and they will come out and say that to you, sometimes in the worst ways possible, sometimes in ways that are not the worst, but also can be like, ooh, hard to take. And I'll just give a few examples of me, for instance, things that happened to me. I'll give two examples, and this was related to the hair that you have as well. And this is also relates to the hair conversation. Like brightly colored hair and like just unnatural colors and everything. So when I was a teenager, again, the first time I had gone bright red, no, it wasn't bright red, bright orange braids, long bright orange braids. Like when I got home, my dad told me, "You look like a prostitute," and he said this with like a little smile, and I was just like, "Okay." And he was absolutely right. I absolutely know what he was talking about, because when you look at people who are prostitutes and all that stuff, I mean, they rarely, rarely, they don't look classic. They don't look natural. They usually have those bright popping colors that are just like, hey, look at me, trying to attract. Immodest. That's one story. It's just not a long story. Short little incident. Another thing that had happened to me, also hair related, the first time I had gotten blonde braids, still when I was a teenager. So I had just gone out of the hair salon, and that was the only time I got blonde braids, by the way. And it wasn't because of that incident that I never had blonde braids again. It was just the only time I had blonde braids. Anyway, yeah. So I got out of the hair salon, and as I got out of the hair salon, there was a pickup truck that drove by, and at the back of the pickup truck, in the, what do you call that again? In the cabin? No, the cabin is where there's the, yeah. Well, in the back. In the back, in the pickup, there was a group of guys. I think they were construction workers heading to some site, I think. And as the car just like drove by, this guy just yelled out in French, but I'm going to translate. He just yelled, "Whore!" And I remember just being like, and I get it. I get it. I absolutely get it. Like, again, not excusing, it's rude. It's rude to scream out that kind of thing. It is totally rude. But he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. I mean, I wasn't a whore, but he wasn't wrong in terms of what he was expressing that I was putting out. It's like these are signs of something, signs of wanting to attract. And when you put these things on children, and you allow children to have that, so this is as parents who are allowing their kids to dress however or aren't intervening whatsoever, yeah, you are doing your children a disservice. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Wow, 20-minute long commentary. Wow, I can go on. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe, stay friendly, stay fit, stay fresh, stay fake, stay fluke, stay fraud. I was saying a whole lot of nonsense, but those who watch Fresh and Fit will understand. Okay, and also those who make fun of Fresh and Fit will understand.